I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right.
Okay, roll call. Councilperson McClure.
Here.
Councilperson Redmond.
Here.
Councilperson Stackcliffe.
Here.
Councilperson Stearns.
Here.
And Mayor Collings.
Here.
Great.
There are no special presentations today, so we will move to public comment. Kathy's not here. Do you, City Manager, have any idea if there are people online? Chief, are you going to step in and see if you can figure that out?
There's nobody that I'm seeing in the room right now.
Well, if there is anybody online, we apologize.
There's nobody online.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. Betty, would you like to come up, please? Thank you.
Thank you. I came to the meeting in person tonight. Can you hear me all right?
Not really.
No? You need to raise the sound? How about now? Okay, great. I came in person tonight because I have something really important I would like to address directly to the council, not through a Zoom meeting. And sometimes it's really hard to get into public comments because you kind of get cut off at the beginning on the Zooms. So pardon me while I read my comments so that I don't leave anything out. It is important to your constituents that we know you care about our concerns. When we write to you and we don't get a response, we think you don't care about our concerns. If it is a sensitive or delicate situation, such as what I recently wrote about to one council member, a response is important, even if the response is simply, "Thank you for letting me know about your concerns. Rest assured, I will consider them as we move forward on this issue." Just something acknowledging that my concerns were heard and taken seriously while not divulging anything legal. Others have expressed to me they have had a similar experience of no response, not necessarily with the same council person, but in general. My recent email concerns involve the current situation with the city planner. And as I expressed in that email, I am not the only one who is concerned. While we understand that you cannot divulge anything legal, we would like to see the process be more transparent than it has been. It all appears to be so secretive. Some of the questions I and others have are, has there been a thorough and equitable investigation? What is the city's plan for replacing the city planner? It is fairly obvious that that is what's going to happen, even though publicly the only comment from the city has been that she is, quote, on extended leave. Is there going to be a headhunter involved? If so, what will that fee be to replace the current city planner who is on, quote, leave? And finally, we ask that you be transparent about how long the city will be utilizing TRC and what that contract terms are. TRC is not a member of our community and therefore does not have a personal investment in it. I believe personal investment in our community is as important as knowledge of CEQA and local laws, and that is questionable given the last TRC consultant we had. I understand that while typically the public comment period is not time for back and forth discussion, the council does have the discretion of doing so, and it has done so in the past. However, if you choose not to address any of these things tonight, would you please find a way to address these questions, perhaps at a future agenda item? As I said, transparency is really important to our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Anybody else want to come up and speak? Yeah.
A few things. So the last city council meeting.
Can you give us your name, please?
Yeah, my name is Tara. I was here at the last city council meeting, and it was my first one. And you guys were talking about the budget, so at the time I was listening, and afterwards I had some time to think. When it comes to the COVID-19 relief money, from what I gather at the moment, it's really just going into raises for our police department. Is that where the money's at this very moment? Like, is there a way to see how that money is being delegated?
Yeah, I'm sorry, as Betty noted, this isn't a Q&A.
Okay, so how would I get that question answered?
You would see our city manager,
Okay, so I talked with Todd a couple days ago.
right?
So I'll find out about the budget. Also, I proposed an event to him, and he said that at this moment, Mount Shasta, the city of Mount Shasta, does not sponsor any cultural events. Is that correct? Can you say yes or no to that? Or
You would have to,
Well, I did talk with Todd. He said at this time, City Council isn't sponsoring any cultural events. Reason being, if you sponsor one, you have to sponsor all of them, which I disagree with. I think that we've got an amazing, vibrant community and cultural community here that needs to be shared. And to see the city sponsor some of these events, it would do so much for our community. And I've talked with Todd about it. He told me to start talking with City Council. So I'm really eager to find out more about what's happening with this relief money. If there's a way that as a community member, I can propose some ideas. In addition to that, ways in which I can empower our City Council to start sponsoring cultural events, especially after, so much time indoors and away from each other, the need for it.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Mayor.
Anybody else like to speak? Let me respond just kind of generally. One of the things that's easy to forget is we are public representatives up here. And what that means is we represent everybody. And when certain requests or positions aren't reflected in solutions or communications, that is a function of what our job is, which is to look at that relative to the entire community and address it or not. Because again, we represent everybody. And of course, if it hasn't become clear, this is a pretty diverse town, and whatever one group or people or a small group or large group of people, there are 6 or 8 or 10 other groups that want different things. And when it comes to how we spend money, there's more groups that you can count, I assure you. And that's just a kind of a headline for perspective. But again, any focus, our CEO is the city manager. That's Todd. So thank you. And if there's nobody online, I'm going to close public comment and go to council and city staff comments. Todd, anything from you today?
So bear with me, I've got a list. Okay, so a couple things. So the housing element, that's underway in meeting with Plan West. Met with Plan West today. I am compiling a bunch of data that they need to start their work, including a GIS data request from the county. We need to dig through our old GIS files to be able to get that information to them. Also, to satisfy the state requirements, we need to ensure that an existing affordable housing development doesn't end up back at market rate this year. That's Alder Gardens. It's in private ownership, but we at least need to show that we're providing at least facilitation and trying to nudge them towards keeping it market rate. So that's going to fall to me. So that's that piece. 2, I want to talk a little bit about the drainage study. That's underway, and there's a bunch of data that they are looking for. So I've got a county GIS request out for them for a bunch of parcel-related data. Muriel and Dave Torres have helped get together operations and maintenance costs for the need to hire an additional person for any new drainage and infrastructure that we would need, and as well as the number of parcels right now that are being charged the dollar utility fee, so we can create a model for it for the 218 process. At the same time, this company, Raftelli's, I got into a side conversation today, excuse me, about brainstorming ways that we can look at the infrastructure bill, now law, that California is doing rulemaking on, and we've got some ideas on collaborating on some grant requests. So we may come back and potentially ask for a pretty marginal amount of money for them to do some grant writing for us, because they are the experts, which ultimately for a little bit of money, if we're successful, will substantially, hopefully, lower the cost of what it will cost our citizens to repair our drainage infrastructure, which is in pretty dire disrepair at the time, right now. Next, the ATP plan. We had an open house that was well attended. We had 20 people that came to it. Based on the comments that we got there, excuse me, we're making some minor adjustments to the plan, and they finished their traffic analysis and their planning analysis of the idea of a couplet of Chestnut and Mount Shasta, the one-way street idea. And so what they've come back with is that from a traffic engineering perspective, it is going to be a marginal impact on level of service. That's transportation engineering speak for it's not going to slow traffic down. To do it right, it's going to cost millions of dollars, but it can work. But what does that mean? What they've come back with is what I said earlier on, is that it's pretty unlikely that the outcomes that we're seeking on Chestnut are going to be outcomes from changing one-way streets, or two-way to one-way streets to create a couplet. And Alta, the consulting firm, is going to be coming to the August 8th meeting and giving a presentation on their findings, including on the one-way street couplet, as well as what their plan is overall. And that'll be won't be the last time they'll be in front of council, be kind of the last chance to tweak this and decide which way we want to move forward before we go to the Planning Commission, and then bring this back to council in October to wrap this up and hopefully approve it. Two more pieces, bear with me. The Crystal Geyser annexation, and I mentioned before, is having some difficulty getting a meeting with the chief administrative officer. Had that meeting. It went well, very receptive. The next step is we need to buy in from the Siskiyou County supervisors on this, and they've made it clear up front that the two things, one we obviously knew, is they'll want a cost sharing agreement, and two is that they, to do this, they want no cannabis related businesses happening on the Crystal Geyser parcel. So that's going to be discussed at the next board of supervisors meeting, and then the next step is LAFCO, and I'm keeping in close touch with the chief administrative officer and and our county supervisors to make sure we can keep this thing on the map. Finally, sorry, I'm a little under the weather. Police and fire consolidation RFP. I granted that contract. I awarded that contract after internal review to a company called Matrix Consulting, and they've accepted. They sent me over a contract on Friday, and talked to John Kenny today. He reviewed it. He made a couple minor changes. It's back with them, and we're hoping to have them on board by the end of the week, and then we can set up a kickoff meeting. And then finally, we're transferring over our IT services. So I'll be setting up a kickoff meeting with Apex IT to see if we can, facilitate that transition. That's all I got.
Thank you, Todd. Chief, Muriel, counselors, anything you want to comment on? If not, we'll move on to the committee updates, which you at least in part covered. Are there any more from the committee updates?
DF coming up. So that's the only committee that we've had meet since the last council meeting.
Right, thank you. So we'll move to the consent agenda. City manager recommends approval of the following consent agenda items. All resolutions and ordinances on this agenda or added hereto shall be introduced or adopted as applicable by title only, and the full reading thereof is hereby waived. A, approval of the minutes June 27th, 2022 for the regular city council meeting. B, tax lien against properties that have delinquent utility accounts per municipal code 13.04.330. And C, the police department monthly report for June 2022.
Move to approve consent agenda items A, B, and C by title only.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. 8 is the Chamber of Commerce presentation and budget request. City manager, you want to introduce this to us, please?
Yes. So the chamber has been working with the consulting firm to beef up, very targeted marketing to different groups outside of Mount Shasta to increase tourism and increase the number of folks that want to move to the community. I got a demonstration of kind of a basic level of the work that this consultant has done and can do, and it's pretty exciting. We are in an environment where we're seeing an increase because of COVID in our new residents and in more visitors, and we're seeing that in town. We're seeing that in our bottom line, and I'll just let the group present. I think it's pretty, it's pretty strong stuff. I'll let them present. It's expensive, and so what I would say, as a kind of laying this out, we're in an environment where we're not in a recession. You're not technically in a recession until you're seeing a decrease in job starts and jobs are booming. But we could end up in that direction if things turn. So I think we need to weigh out what's presented to us versus the caution that we need to ensure that we have adequate reserves if we end up into a recession. So, but the stuff's compelling. The chamber has done great work. The consultant has done fantastic work, and I just am looking forward to what they have to present and get your feedback on this.
And did I hear you say that Josh is? There you are. Now, how are you going to do this presentation? Are you going to come up and just speak, and they'll do the slide moving for you? You want to just answer questions? You want to go through this? What would you like to do? Yeah.
You may come forward. Then the new.
So if it's questions,
It's questions?
if it's questions you guys want to ask, or I could brief you on the overall project that we started about a year and a half ago now.
Yeah, yes, cozy up.
Okay.
Guys, what might help is if you can, if you can do this, is walk through what your capabilities are, because that's what I was blown away by when I came and saw the presentation, and I think that's really the heart of the matter of just the capabilities you guys have.
so what we were proposing was full social media management. So this is including Instagram and Facebook, website management, YouTube management. We've been doing seasonal videos to promote all the different activities there are through the 4 seasons in Mount Shasta, because this is a very outdoor-oriented community.
Josh, could you bring the mic a
Oh,
little
even
closer
closer?
to you?
All right, yeah, sorry. There's also social media marketing, Google ad marketing, and email marketing that we can do. And I can show you or tell you some of the numbers, and it's pretty compelling because you can increase your engagement and your follower count quite a bit by doing the digital ad marketing for not too much money. And the other thing, customer relationship management and engagement. And then if the chamber decides, we can also create an e-commerce store to create income generation. And design that, as well as doing additional videos for promotion of the city, such as 4th of July, or we recently did the Winter Magic event.
Would one of you mind giving us a little history, and I'm also curious if the rest of council has seen one of the videos that
Yeah,
produced? Okay.
please. If you guys have one teed up, I think that would be really helpful.
Yeah.
Can you play a video?
If I can connect to the internet, I can play it on my laptop, but I don't know how we
You can probably give it to one of those guys too. Maybe email it to him. Kevin, maybe give us a little history while he's going through that.
So the idea behind the Visit Mount Shasta started with basically taking our visitor center and transferring it onto a digital platform. So I think I did a presentation a little over a year ago for you guys and gave you a number of stats of why we think and believe we could, kind of cater to a more targeted market age-wise that reaches for this before it travels versus walking into, say, a physical visitor center. So over the year and a half, we've done the social media campaign. Like Josh said, he has done 4 seasonal promotional videos. We launched those in different areas. He's been promoting them in Chico Market, Redding Market, and the Bay Area. And that targets, people of interest in outdoor recreation. So. And have you seen and you guys seen the website that we did as well?
Yes, visit
Mount Shasta
and chamber. Well, the access is through one of the tabs on the chamber site.
You could access the Visit Mount Shasta from.
Right.
Okay.
Any other questions before we go to public comment?
I'll ask the questions later. It has to do with the money.
Okay.
Well, I was going to ask questions about money. Because the city allocated $15,000 for promotion. What are you now asking or proposing?
So that first year we budgeted the $15,000 that went to video, social media management, and creating a website. So at this point, we found success, and I think some would agree that, the campaign was successful. But, we want to continue running the Visit Mount Shasta website and the social media. And then my thing is presenting Josh to you guys is what kind of interest do you have in analytics and more engagement? And he's got the technical terminology for all that, but so.
So is your proposal to do something on the City of Mount Shasta website or on the chamber site or both?
So it's just Visit Mount Shasta. Just Visit Mount Shasta is what we're talking about.
Okay.
Okay, and so the request for money is going to be from the chamber to cover the cost
Yes.
of this program. Okay. So similar to last year.
And structurally, this money, even though it comes to the chamber, is not going to be used on the chamber site. It's going to be used on the Visit Mount Shasta site.
Yes.
Any other questions?
No, other than to request to view the queued up movie.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So, another question. Are there metrics to determine the effectiveness of this type of activity, so we can determine dollar spent, dollar return?
Yeah, so we can analyze a lot of different metrics with social media. You have follower count, you have engagement with websites, you have engagement impressions. You can get all of that, and I can have that readily available. And you can see the difference in, you know, how much you dedicate to ad spend and what that turns into. For example, we've done a small amount, like a $4 a day ad spend with just Facebook. And since I've taken this over in April, we've had an 88% increase in followers on our social media platform. But with Instagram, we're about 13.7, so we haven't done ad spend. So you can see how much we've almost doubled the amount in a short while just with a very low amount of ad spend. So you can see the effectiveness of that, as well as who you want to target. So I looked at the 2013 marketing plan that the city had and saw what they were doing and saw that they were interested in people from the Bay Area, from Los Angeles, larger cities coming to the area, as well as Central and Southern Oregon. So that's what I kind of based my current ad campaigns on, was targeting those areas. As far as the other stuff, we would be doing, again, the management of the social media platforms, as well as what we're not doing right now is engaging. So a lot of times people have questions: where can I get something to eat? Where is this? Where is that? What can I do? What's your, you know, stance on this? And we haven't engaged because that takes quite a bit of energy and effort, and that would be included with this as well. As well as creation of a YouTube channel. It doesn't even exist as far as I understand it at the moment. And maintaining the website, adding new businesses as they come in, and updating their contact information, making sure that it's a seamless experience.
You want to roll that beautiful bean
So,
footage.
another question. How do,
I had to, I'm sorry.
how would individual businesses participate in this, either financially or otherwise?
So at the moment, we're not doing chamber members. This is Visit Mount Shasta, so we're just doing what is available in Mount Shasta. So for example, restaurants, we've included all the restaurants in the area. And in the future, depending on which direction the chamber wants to take it, we can, we're basing it on the Visit Bend model, essentially. Visit Bend has done a great job with their marketing, and so our website reflects that. And they've sold essentially like ad space to businesses. If they want to promote their own businesses within the website, they can move themselves to the very top of the list, so it's the first thing you see. And then as well as, like I said, we can do e-commerce store to increase income generation for the chamber itself, if that is the direction they want to move.
And has the chamber board taken any official action on this, or taken a stand of record?
As far as,
Saying, has the board passed a resolution or motion saying we would like to do this?
like, are you talking about e-commerce specifically? Yeah. Well, the whole project is developing right now, so we need funding to do things and continue the growth of the Visit Mount Shasta. So, yes, would we use it? I mean, as a chamber, we're looking for income generation, which would be, you know, obviously using that website to do that.
Okay, it has, are we being asked to make a decision, thumbs up, thumbs down on this, at what level tonight, or is this simply a presentation tonight?
Well, that's up to you guys to decide, right?
No, I'm,
It's included in the packet, yeah.
Yes, we are. Yes.
I mean, that's what I thought, but it has 3 different levels, and
Pick a level, yes, no, and that is the program
and so that's
tonight.
why I was asking, has the chamber board specifically taken a specific stance on the Visit Mount Shasta proposal that we see here tonight?
This was presented to the board. Yes, everybody got a copy of this. And, gosh, what am I thinking? You know, I think the hard thing for us was when we did the contract last year, we didn't realize that it had renewed for 3 years and didn't give me the time to necessarily, the 15 grand that we were allotted last year to run Visit Mount Shasta, I hadn't budgeted it yet for this year. So this is where we're at to try and keep the Visit Mount Shasta going right now. The money we get from the TOT money basically is used for all operation of the visitor center.
I do have a question. Just to clarify, so once, say the city does approve a certain tier and then the funding is going and the Visit Mount Shasta site is developed at that point, will the chamber then like beef up the membership and have it be a part of, ingrained with how this site is being built? Will it be part of the chamber also?
Yeah, as long as we're running the visitor center,
Right.
this is part of the visitor center.
Got
Yeah.
it. And a while ago, there was an idea of having it somehow go onto someone's cell phone, like having them be able to pull up a whole list of things to do. Is this a piece moving into that direction?
Yeah, so the 3 things we landed on was eat, play, stay. And so, right, eat, restaurants, play, there's lots of different activities. You know, I'm trying to make sure there's a balance because we all, I think, like, you know, to see more dollars come into the area, but we don't want to have it blow up. We don't want all the secret spots to go away. So I've towed the line of making sure that, you know, the activities are listed, but not everything. You know, just kind of the main ones like Siskiyou, things like that. And yeah, I think. Also, yeah, with stay we have hotels, and under the play we also have shopping as well. So the retail stores are included under there.
That raises another question. Josh, in the past, we have used another process to try to market Mount Shasta to the Bay Area. And not just eat, play, stay, but a place to live and work. How would that be compatible with what you're proposing, or is it compatible with what you're proposing?
Well, this is simply a platform that we can customize to however the chamber wants to go about it. If we wanted to promote a place to live and work, that's definitely a possibility.
Is it true that the current relocation package information, i.e. you want to consider living here and you're looking for those where realtors and other relocation information, that's on the chamber's site currently, is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, and the Visit Mount Shasta was, at least as I understood it, was really more focused on Visit Mount Shasta. It is the tourism site, it's the eat, play, stay. You can get there directly, but you also can get there through the chamber site on one of the tabs across the top, and that's kind of the division, if I understood it correctly. Is that how you all see it?
Yes. I think, you know, for the Visit Mount Shasta, it's just advertising. It's very visual of our area.
Yeah, no, it's simple, and when you move into the mobile world, you got to be.
It's the Instagram.
Yeah,
model,
yeah,
really.
you got right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's visual, and you click through a picture into a little more detail behind it, and it's especially in the mobile world. That's great. I thought the visit site is good. I have some issues, but we'll get to there in a little bit. Can you run this, guys? Can you run this little video? Would you run that now for us? It's a good job. And let me stop it here for a moment and ask if there's any public, let me open it up to the public and see if there's any public commentary. Chief, anybody online? If there is, God help them. I don't know what you mean about it. I'm not sure we know how to get them, but good. So back to council. Anybody have any commentary that they would like to make, like how you're feeling about this?
Is it okay if I weigh in just to, before the discussion starts on a couple points?
Please.
So a couple of things that I feel a little bit uncomfortable about, and that I'd like more information on, and is I'm not clear on what level of what you're getting bottom line for each level of support, and the other piece is the Visit Bend model, how that funding happens. Is that a combination of BID funds and city funds? Are city funds included at all? I just kind of like to find a little bit more about that governance structure. I can certainly make calls and find out about that piece, but I'd like to, and again, this is a suggestion, is coming back to the next council meeting. So council, if you have the same desire for more information, to be able to see what you get for your money at each level would be really useful. But again, that's just my blush reaction to this, because I feel like I'm flying blind if I was to pick a menu item. I know, if you pay more, you're getting more, but I just don't know what.
Thank you. Anybody, folks? Councilors?
Okay, so this is going to be added to the usual contribution we give to Chamber of Commerce?
For operating the visitor center, yes.
Yeah, okay. And so what have we budgeted for this new fiscal year for that?
65, I think.
65?
Yeah.
So Kevin, are you asking for 65 plus potentially 42,000 more?
So last year, we did the 65,000 plus an additional 15
Right.
as budgeted. 6 months prior to that, Chamber was using Chamber money to start the Visit Mount Shasta. So this year, when we look at taking it and continuing it and like contracting out Josh here, what he's proposed for you guys is there, beyond the 15,000 I used last year, is there more information, more analytics, more marketing dollars that we want to spend in this thing? And that's his area, and for you guys to decide.
Yeah, I think just from watching in the last 6 months I hawk the Mount Shasta websites pretty thoroughly, especially on Instagram, and I'm a big proponent of getting the word out. And I've noticed an incredible uptick in the last 6 months. I mean, it's night and day. You can't even compare it. On Instagram especially, it's just quality, consistent. There's always something there to forward on or something. So I think this is definitely something that we need. Marketing at this level has been a big void in our community, and now it's here. How we go about it, I think these tiered systems are good. I would like just to get some clarification probably on what the, what's included in the customer relation management versus, it's just some of that terminology, but yeah, I'm for moving forward in some capacity.
Well, if I may jump in for a second here, I've got some more structural concerns, just issues to bring up, and also for your long-term consideration about how marketing, which clearly we need to market the town, you clearly need to do that. But it was a number of years back. We jumped into a TBID, a tourism business improvement district, where we put 2.5% of a hotel. Well, they scream when we call it tax, but it's a tax, and that gets renewed every 5 years. That gets into a big pot for the county. I was not in favor of that. I think longer term, we need to be more directly in control of our own destiny, and that is a large chunk of money that we just don't have any control over. Relative to longer term, where this goes, and the second part for me is also structural. It's the chamber versus the Visit Mount Shasta. When you do search engine Mount Shasta, the Chamber of Commerce site comes up long before the Visit Mount Shasta site. And if you hop on the chamber site, structurally, you gotta look around for a while to figure out, I don't want to relocate, or I'm not really interested in who the new members are. It's a site for the chamber versus, hey, versus Visit Mount Shasta, which is a eat, play, stay. What you want to know if you want to check out a place you might want to go. And structurally, you've got the activities, that calendar that rotates through on the chamber site, where everybody who has a concert or an event, they all load them in on that calendar event. That's on the chamber site, but it's not on the Visit Mount Shasta site. I don't know if this is part of your plan. It may be, but I would strongly suggest that at the very least duplicate it over on the other site, so they can come in, okay, here's the chunks of eat, play, stay, but also here's what's happening in the weekend that I might want to be going, and it's easy to access versus buried in the chamber site that isn't easy to find, and when moving to mobile, I suspect more difficult to find. Just some structural things that I thought, well, that we should mention, or I should mention, because I think we do need to market. The question is how, and longer term, who pays, or should we reallocate our paying? That's not before us today, but I wanted to bring that up as that money goes out of here, and it's a big chunk of money every year, and it would more than cover anything that you're proposing. The TBID program. Yeah, way more. Anyway, that's all I have to say. Anybody else want to make any comments about how you're feeling about this, or make a suggestion, a motion?
Well, conceptually, I like this idea. I do have questions, just as the city manager mentioned that he has questions. He suggested that perhaps we put this on the next council meeting agenda for actual action. In the meantime, get more information as to where does money come from, who pays how will it best support. And I had that same question about, we pay money for
Discover Siskiyou?
Huh? Yeah, Discover Siskiyou.
Yeah.
So how can we make these mesh? And if we're looking at a long-term project, which I think this would be, what's the best way to make that happen?
Anybody
So
else?
I would, having said that I like the idea, conceptually, I would also move that we continue this to the next agenda.
Anybody else want to continue this
Yeah.
to the next agenda?
Well, I will, but I have some more questions.
Please.
Okay. So I think it's important for the next meeting to have the council has a clear understanding about what you folks think the impact will be, the difference will be in impact between spending $2,100 a month and $3,500 a month. I mean, obviously it's conjectural, you're not going to be positive about the effects, but what you think is likely or probable for that difference in money, okay? I think we all agree that's important to know or have a good feeling about, right?
Right.
Okay. You mentioned in the presentation that selling ads later can generate monies for the program, correct? Is that what I heard?
Not necessarily ads like ad spend, but we can promote businesses on the website, which is what we've seen Visit Bend do.
And then they'll pay advertising fees to the chamber?
So that's like a whole nother concept down the road.
Well,
but-
it's important because then it could become somewhat more self-funding.
Right. It's, if it becomes a revenue stream for the chamber as like, the visitor center we use, and we have retail in the visitor center, which generates income really to operate the visitor center at this point. So the idea is, we could use the website potentially to sell advertising and have a revenue stream that way.
So the ask ongoing, the request for funds ongoing might actually decline a little bit. Okay.
Time
Just
tells.
I just want to
It's all new.
bring it to the council's attention. It's sort of a seed money. I look at this as a seed money proposal, and hopefully it does take off if we were to approve this project. And then it would hopefully generate income to defray the cost to the city later.
I kind of see it personally as it's just what the visitor center is. How the chamber, this is essentially the digital visitor center. So it would be kind of hand in hand with how we operate the visitor center. We would operate Visit Mount Shasta the same.
Kevin, from my perspective, it could be helpful to have a business plan that you can share with us.
Okay.
Yeah, we just
And
the big
Josh,
chunks of
same
where
thing.
you're going with this, because one-time expenditures are one thing, but things that look like one-time expenditures but really end up being we're going to have to write checks for this till the end of time is we just need to know which way that's heading. For instance, and Councilmember Stackliff brought up the ads on the site. The Pacific Power, one of the first 3 images that comes through on the chamber site, is that a paid-for site? Is that a paid-for element?
It's part of their membership package.
Oh.
Okay.
So does that rotate amongst members?
It depends on the tier of their membership.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a tier benefit kind of thing.
If they're a community sponsor, I think it is.
Got it. Well, thank you, because I didn't know. Thanks. Anybody else?
Just for perspective to fellow council members, I believe our overall budget for this fiscal year we just started is $5.4 million. Okay, so if we were to approve agree to the full project amount of $3,500 a month, it's under 1% of cost. Right. And the next question is, conjecturally, do we think it's going to generate TOT taxes and sales taxes that more than compensate for that? That's hard to determine, but maybe convince us it would.
Well, and to his point, which is a key point, evaluative criteria.
My gut tells me it will, but
Well, people are coming here. We could just we could be proud of how we promote our community.
Well, and again, just evaluative criteria. How are you, be more specific on the specific numerical criteria that you will use to evaluate how successful this was.
So point of order.
And we don't have to
Point
get
of
into the
order.
details today. This is for the.
we're helping you prepare for the next session.
We're helping you prepare for the next session.
Yeah, so for instance, we're pretty sure sales taxes will go up 5% due to restaurant activity increasing X number of percent, that type of thing. Get the idea, right?
And you can run break evens. Doesn't have to be this is the objective, and here's how we're gonna. here's how we're going to
I'm
do
trying
it.
to pacify the budget hawks.
Isn't there a way to see if someone clicked something and then further trace that click into whether they physically stayed in Mount Shasta? I think,
I don't know about that specifically, but we can do a lot of different things to see, you know, the ads that we've created, see how much traffic that's driven to the website. We can see then if somebody clicked on a piece of merchandise, should we go that direction? We can see if they bought that piece of merchandise. So you can see the funnel from ad to engagement into the website into purchase of something. It's harder to do with, you know, if somebody visited Mount Shasta. Like, did somebody see the ad and then come here? That's a lot harder to determine. But we can show the, you know, engagement, the follower increase, how many people have eyes on it, and then overall, I'm assuming the city council has the metrics on, you know, how much spending has gone up in the community. And you can try to draw correlations, but it's hard to do direct correlations.
Yeah, coming out of
Can I
COVID,
add something
it's
to
real
this?
difficult for us to evaluate. But anyway, that's evaluative criteria, and can this thing start to pay for itself to at least to some degree? If is there an alternate revenue stream in the structure of what you're proposing? Is that clear?
To be determined, I guess.
So through the chair, one last thing. So you mentioned that you're mimicking, to a certain degree, the BEN program. So assume you have a lot of information, or you can get information about what they've done and the success they've had, and saying that potential parallels here would be helpful, I think, for budget hawks.
Can I add something to this? There is in, like, for instance, the bicycling community, as I'm thinking of it, as one specific example in Oregon. When you're trying to reach certain customers and you're coming out and you're looking at different segments, what the hardest thing to do is in the statistical world is being able to quantify what are known as externalities. Okay, so you provide this marketing and you see an X increase in the number of mountain bikers and road bikers in your community. And so the hard thing to track is how much do they spend on lodging? How much do they spend on repairs? How much do they spend on beers? How much do they spend on what they eat in that community? And the measure of each one of those visits has gotten better in terms of measuring those externalities, and there are models out there to follow. And I wouldn't expect you guys to follow this down a rabbit hole, but you can do some quick numbers. And I would suggest you go look at Travel Oregon and their model for tourism and how they've applied certain values to a trip based on skiing, based on I'm blanking on sailboarding, wakeboarding, road biking, mountain biking, et cetera, and they break it down. And so if you're able to kind of show in some sense, some order of magnitude, nothing specific, because you can't get specific with it, it might be helpful to show based on those three tiers where you think you might end up.
Right. Well, anybody like to second Councilmember Stearns?
I'll second the, what was the motion exactly?
To
Motion is to continue this matter to the next meeting.
For more
when we can
detailed
hopefully
discussion.
Take action.
Take action, okay. Second that?
all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Well, thank you, guys. This is exciting. We just need a little more.
Yeah.
We'll see in a couple weeks, and then
All right. Thanks for your time, guys.
we'll go forward. Agenda item number 9 is discussion of possible action on determination of the League of California Cities Annual Conference attendance and designation of voting delegates. Kathy was going to do this. City Manager, are you prepared to cover this?
I have not seen it. Maybe I can take a quick look and wing it.
I think I might be able to punt.
Okay. Well, yeah.
So
I'm out. I'm in Reno that weekend for the wife's birthday.
So-
I'm out too, so.
I'm going to the September one, yeah.
So, yeah, Tessa's going. I would also like to go, but it's in Long Beach, and the issue before us really, I think, is also to designate a voting
Right.
delegate.
Would you like to be the
And I
voting
think-
delegate?
I would be honored.
Is it okay with you to be she's the voting delegate?
I support Tessa being the voting delegate.
It's a public discussion item.
Yeah, is there any public comment on this? And I will close public comment.
All right, so you want to make a motion?
Yeah,
The motion to,
make a motion.
I have that wording in
Okay.
mind.
Well, I would make a motion to send Councilmember Clore and Councilmember Stearns to the annual League of Cities conference in Long Beach to designate Tessa Clore as the voting delegate and Stearns as the alternate.
I'll second that.
By title only.
By title only.
I'm trained. The seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. There were no outside meetings. Anybody have any future agenda items that they'd like to add or delete?
Just the one that we took action on tonight.
Yeah, right, exactly. Anybody else? On that note, we are adjourned. And
So after that discussion right there with the Chamber of Commerce, I realized why analytics still starts with the word anal.
it is, I worked for 3 advertising agencies. Way back in the boom day, where it was all manual and real pain in the ass, but it was